Next, we'll look at Cardinal players. And there are some good things and some bad things. First of all, Polanco starting to heat back up. Gorman heating up. Gorman having a monster season for us. 17 home runs, 39 runs batted in. Definitely more strikeouts than you would like, but at this point, he's very productive. We'll take what we can get out of him. We need his bat in the lineup, given the deficiency we have in other areas. Newbar, also someone else who's been really good for us so far this season. See kind of ebbing and flowing in terms of what's going up and what's going down. That's okay. But you see he's batting 315, OBP of 365, slugging at 41, is driven in 33 runs, has 9 home runs, double-digit doubles, one of the league leaders in batting average. Hopefully he continues to do well. Arenado, our biggest bat in terms of, consistency, I guess, overall. Newbar, the better hitter for average, Gorman, the better hitter for power. Arenado, the most well-rounded hitter we've had to this point, even though him and Gorman's average are around the same. It just looks different. 14 home runs for Nato. He's driven in 50 runs to lead the team. Our average just under 250 at 249. Like to see that OBP go up a little, but for now, he did miss some time with an injury. We're just hoping that he can stay consistent, especially because some other guys are struggling. Goldie. Oh, the decline is real with this man. He has struggled to really this point in the season. He's kind of had a good ending to June, but it's still been a struggle, a fight for him. See, in hits overall, he's 21 shy of 2K, so we're hoping that he can get there. But it's been rough just with him, trying to figure out where to put him in the lineup, try to hide him, try to find spots where maybe he can get opportunities to see better pitches. He's batting 216, which I guess is good because he's been batting sub 205 quite a bit this season. 12 home runs, 40 runs driven in. He's on the trade block. Will he be moved? Who replaces him? I don't have answers to that, but it's a work in progress. Right now, we're just trying to get to the All-Star break, and hopefully he can contribute until then, and we'll kind of figure things out from there. Franchise Carp. It looks like Father Time has finally come for Franchise Carp. Got 15 home runs, so that's still a positive, but that batting average, 201, Carp usually has never been this bad. But Carp has struggled this season. Lots of strikeouts. Just doesn't have the bat speed. It's been a struggle with him. Will he get 20 home runs? Sure. I think he'll get 5 more home runs this season. Will he get to 30? Question. I'm not sure. And that's the first time I probably said that about Carp in at least 5 years of MLB The Show. So we're going to have to see what happens with him. Another guy to look at, Wilson Contreras. So this is an up and down thing because you see against righties, he's struggling. Against lefties, he gets a boost. Vision and discipline down. He's batting 238. So with Herrera on the Cubs now, there is no really splitting time with him. With the two of them, Wilson is going to be the guy. He's got 10 home runs. He's driven in 28 runs. Problem is, he just doesn't hit consistently. It's streaky and slumpy. There's no he can be consistent for a week. It's 3 bad games, 2 good games, 4 bad games, 5 good games. There's no consistency with him. And this is one thing that's going to hurt the Cardinals going forward. Got to have some consistency. Need him to kind of put together a good second half of the season. See what happens. Pitching wise, though, things are looking good. Lance Lynn. He hasn't looked good in his last couple of starts. Maybe that decline's starting to hit a little bit. But he does lead the team with 9 wins. His ERA is sub 2. His whip is sub 1. So kind of hoping that he can get it together. But he looked really good at the start of the season. And then he's kind of slowly regressed to the mean. Miles, our guy, he's going to regress some. But in Miles, we trust. He's back from a concussion. Looked decent in his first outing back. He's got 7 wins. His ERA is sub 3. That's to be expected. His whip, 1.1, basically. See if he can get that down a little. But Miles is Miles. I have no doubt that he'll be fine as the season goes on. even with the decline. Miles is consistent, and the big thing is he doesn't pitch at the top of the rotation, so he gets a lesser arm to face, not as stressful. As long as he keeps hitting that curveball and that sinker, I think he'll be fine. Gallegos has looked good this season. He's been a former closer for me in the past. He's been really solid. You see, he has 2 blown saves, but 18 holds and 30 appearances. ERA sub 1.5, whip 0.89. Very reliable. Usually pitches in the 7th or 8th. Depends on the handedness of the bats coming up right, left between him and JoJo. But Gallegos, masterful, continues to be everything that I expect him to be. Shout out to Kittredge as well. A little bit older. Some areas he's declining in, but that's okay. You see, he, 1.12, arguably the best reliever that we have on the squad. 7 holds, 0.87 whip, and has 9 wins. So he's doing everything we can ask him to do. Holding games, carrying it over to the setup guys, doing everything you need him to do. And we're very happy because without him, not sure how this bullpen will look. We've made a move to get Almonte. It hasn't really worked out. It hasn't been bad, but it hasn't worked out the way we hope. But Kittredge is a nice Swiss Army knife. If we need to use him late in games, we can. If we need to use him as a bridge, we can as well. He's been very, very solid for us. And then Mr. Helsley. Oh, he's our closer. Of course, he's good. We like what he's done. Just not as dominant as he was in last year's franchise. To this point in the season, I believe he blew 2 saves last year. This season, he's got 6. Got 31 saves. ERA solid sub 2. Whip is sub 1. Gotta see that home run come down though. He's given up 6 home runs and 28 hits. This ratio has to come down. Otherwise, he's going to struggle. I'm a little bit nervous about him going down into the second half of the season, but I have faith in Ryan to figure things out. But we've got to get that home run number down. And then lastly, we're going to look at the overall schedule for July. So a little bit of a light month for off on the 1st, no games to play. That's awesome. And then a 4-day break here, off on the 11th to 25th. This really helps when you're talking about cruising through a month to try to stay on pace to finish this franchise before the end of this game cycle. Starting off with the Pirates, and you see who's pitching. It'll be my first time facing him in franchise. I'm really curious to see how it'll go. I know it'll be much harder on next year's game, but still curious to see what it'll be like against him. We've got the Pirates on the road for 3. We've got Washington on the road for 4. Then we'll go back home before the All-Star break. 2 against the Royals, have a day off, and then 3 against everyone's favorite lovable losers, the Cubs. Then the festivities. Won't get to play in the Derby because we won't have anyone. Probably will still record it, so you see who won the All-Star game. We'll get a couple of Cardinals in there, pitchers, so we'll see how that looks. For the post-break, get the Pirates again, so maybe get to see Paul for a second time this month. Big series against the Braves. They do not have a better record than us, but again, if we're going to try to catch the Phillies, we're going to have to win games against tough teams, so we'll have to see what we can do against them. Pittsburgh again, so PNC twice this month. Washington at home this time, and then facing the reigning champions, the Rangers, for 3, this time at home. So July should be an interesting month, a couple of tough series, but overall, a lot of sub-500 teams. So if we're going to make any ground on the Phillies, I won't even say the Dodgers because they're so far ahead, but if we're going to make ground on the Phillies to try to get to avoid a wild card best of 3, we're going to have to do our work in this month, because as you can look and see, August, we got the Yankees, the Rays, the Dodgers, the Padres, the Twins. And then in September, you've got Toronto, Seattle, still got the Yankees kind of hovering there. Lighter month, but we're going to have to take advantage of July, because July is about as easy as it's going to get. But for now, that'll recap June. Let's get back into some action and work our way towards the All-Star break.